Howdy friends, vinyl community, music lovers, welcome to a new edition of the Vinyl Survivor. This is the Vinyl Survivor speed round. I have over 100 albums sitting down here by my desk waiting to be talked about in the Vinyl Survivor. So for these next few episodes, we're going to do 10 albums at a time instead of the normal 5 albums at a time, and try and move a little faster and get through these and try to get this pile whittled down a little bit, starting to get out of hand. It's just really difficult to put these episodes together, so we're going to try to double up on the albums and move through them a little bit faster. So hope you enjoy the speed round edition of the Vinyl Survivor. So let's go ahead and get into it before we waste any more time. The first album we have here is the soundtrack to the 1978 movie Superman, composed by John Williams. Of course, very much a John Williams soundtrack. As soon as you hear it, you know it's John Williams. The Superman soundtrack is no different. Very cool gatefold on this one. One of the things to love about vinyl records is giant artwork, and you got a giant Superman flying through the center of the gatefold. So that's just awesome. Inner sleeves feature quite a few stills from the movie. And this is on the Warner Brothers label, and this was a library sale purchase. The Blue Dot, I'm not sure. Blue Dot I think is either 50 or 75 cents, but Superman soundtrack, movie soundtrack going in the collection. Okay, next up, talking about the most recent release as of the filming of this video from Derek Higgins. This is his soundtrack music to the movie Flyover Country, added to what he did for the movie and expanded it onto this album Flyover. It is, as I said, his most recent release. Very cool metallic embossing on the front, the spine, and the back here. Very cool packaging. The artwork done by his friend Tim Guthrie. Made this really cool artwork, really nice printed inner sleeve on these. I just really love the packaging and the artwork on this. And Derek signed this for me. I don't know if it's going to show up there on the video. And then just some really beautiful splatter vinyl on this release. Totally killer. This lighting is not going to do it justice. Just beautiful, colorful, wonderful music. Very, very rhythmic and driving, pulsating music. I haven't yet seen the movie. I know it's coming out on video soon, I think. I'm looking forward to seeing it because it deals with a theme that's near and dear to my heart, and it's really cool to hear sort of a Midwest perspective of being gay and everything. So that would be very cool to see the movie. But I've enjoyed the music. I actually have the full soundtrack on CD as well, but it's really cool to hear Derek's music separate from the soundtrack itself. So Derek Higgins Flyover, still available, purchased directly from Derek himself if you're interested in hearing some very rhythmic, ambient, electronic sound work. It's really cool. I love his sound work, and it's really good to hear that. Next up, we have the self-titled release from Ringo Starr. This was released in 1973 on the Apple label. Features his hit song Photograph on it. The inside cover does come with a booklet with the lyrics and then a hand-drawn artwork for each song. And the artwork relates to the song. So this is a really cool book to come with this. Really nice to have that. And the album itself has a custom label. It's Apple Records, but it doesn't have a big apple. It just has a little apple on the label there and a star with Ringo in the middle of it. So that's the Ringo Starr self-titled album. I'm not the biggest Ringo fan. I like it okay, and you know, just being part of the Beatles, and this album is just okay for me. Wasn't great, but it's a keeper anyways. It's Ringo Starr. I paid $3 for this at the library sale. You know, they tend to mark up the things they think are more valuable. So next up is a compilation from Jan and Dean, Gotta Take That One Last Ride. This was released in 74, looks like here. Features, you know, a lot of Jan and Dean surf music here. I love the gatefold on this one. There's also a poster. There is the poster. A little bit of a letdown for a poster, but it's cool that it's there nonetheless. Actually, it goes like this. I had it upside down. And then this is on the United Artists label. So that's Jan and Dean, sort of a greatest hits. I wouldn't normally buy just a Jan and Dean album probably. So this is a good thing for me to have, just to be able to put on and when I want to hear some surf music and not necessarily listen to the Beach Boys. Some good stuff. You know, you got their version of Little Deuce Coupe on here, Little Lady from Pasadena, Surfin' Safari, Sidewalk Surfin', Dead Man's Curve, Drag City, Drag Strip Girl, Schlock Rod, Little Deuce Coupe, I think I said, Three Window Coupe, Bucket Tea, I Get Around. So they sort of mix the hot rod songs with the surf music and enjoyable pickup. I think I got this at the Antique Mall down in Micanopy. Don't remember what I paid for it. It was $4 or $5, I think. Not real expensive. Next thing we have is the second album from Arcade Fire. This is Neon Bible. They recorded this album in a church. I don't know exactly where the church was. No, Arcade Fire are from Canada. You can sort of see in here, you can see some of the pictures of the church windows and some of the church organ that actually is featured on the album. This features their hit song No Cars Go, and it's a really strong album from Arcade Fire. It sort of gets overlooked being in between their debut album Funeral and then the Suburbs album, but it's a really strong album, and I'm definitely an Arcade Fire fan. I really love the band, and was happy to add this to my collection. It showed up used at my local record store, and I had to have it for, I think I paid $12 for it. It was a good price, so nice to have this in the collection. Next up, we have sort of a compilation from Chet Atkins, Floyd Kramer, and Boots Randolph. This is titled Chet, Floyd, and Boots. Each one gets 2 tracks, I believe, 2 or 3 tracks on here. Sort of the new Nashville sound, I guess you could say, as far as being in the 50s, the new Nashville sound. And this is on the blue RCA Dynaflex label, although it's not super thin. It's a decent weight vinyl. It's not the super thin Dynaflex, but it's Dynaflex nonetheless, I guess. And this one's not going to be staying in the collection. I just didn't really enjoy it. Didn't get much from it. It was nice to listen to it, but not really into any of these artists that much where I think I want to revisit this anytime. So Chet, Floyd, and Boots, not going to be staying in the collection, but just an interesting glimpse into the Nashville sort of sound, I guess you could say. Okay, next up, another one of these Depeche Mode reissues. We have Music for the Masses from 1987. Very well-known classic album from Depeche Mode. And once again, one of these, as I said, reissues by Rhino. Really nicely done with the sort of embossed, shiny bits and whatnot on the label. Interior with some photography and lyrics. The inner sleeve has more artwork, and then of course the essay that talks about the album and what it meant and how it was received and all that. And then we got a custom label on side 1, and then the printed label on side 2 with the track listing, and just a nice 180 gram pressing of this. As I said, these reissues are digitally remastered, and they sound okay. I don't have originals of most of these to compare to, but they sound good. So that's Depeche Mode, Music for the Masses, going to be going in the collection. Alright, next thing we have to talk about is a pretty cool album. This is another best of album from an artist that's difficult to find any albums from, and that's Lou Reed. This is Walk on the Wild Side, the best of Lou Reed. I did buy the Record Store Day reissue of Transformer a year or so ago, but don't have anything else from Lou Reed other than that, I believe. And it's kind of interesting, I recently talked about how I don't really get the Velvet Underground very well. Particularly their debut album, but I really like and enjoy Lou Reed. I enjoy that more glam rock sort of sound that he evolved into, I guess you could say. I don't I don't know the whole story. You got Wild Child, Walk on the Wild Side, of course. There is White Light, White Heat on here, which that is another album from Velvet Underground that I have not heard, that I would like to hear at some point. This is on the RCA Victor label. And just a nice collection of Lou Reed's work over the years, and I enjoyed hearing this. I picked this up at the Habitat for Humanity thrift store. They charge $1 a piece for records there, so picked this up there. Not in the best of shape, but I wanted to hear it, and I'm glad I grabbed it, and I thoroughly enjoyed listening to it. So like a lot of these songs, and a lot of this stuff is new to me, and a lot of what Lou Reed did is going to be new to me. So as I find more of them, I will be grabbing them. All right, next up is an album from Byron Lee and the Dragonaires. This is some reggae music titled Disco Reggae, 1975 on the Dynamic Sound label. I really enjoyed hearing this. I thought, oh, disco reggae, I'm not going to like this. It's going to be cheesy sounding, but this is pretty good. Pretty enjoyable reggae music. Don't have a lot of reggae in my collection, so this was a nice addition and enjoyable to listen to. So Byron Lee and the Dragonaires, Disco Reggae. Cool piece. Cool addition to the collection. And last but not least, one more of these Depeche Mode reissues. We have Black Celebration. This one again has the very cool glossy printing along with really cool logo embossings along the front cover, and then the back, all the tracks are sort of embossed on here. Really nice gatefold once again. Yeah, and Black Celebration, other than the song Stripped, I hadn't heard much about it. I really enjoyed this one a lot. This was one of my favorite Depeche Mode albums, as well as A Question of Lust. I had heard that one prior as well, but just overall, this album is really, just has a really nice vibe and a nice sound to it, and really cool sounding. This album was released in 1986, so right before Music for the Masses. Custom label on that one. Yeah, so this was surprisingly sort of a standout to me among the Depeche Mode the reissues that I recently bought. I like this one quite a bit, and probably my favorite of the reissues, and I'm glad I got this in the collection. So that was a sort of a speed round of Vinyl Survivor. I hope you enjoyed it. Do a few more of these to try to get caught up on my pile that's just taking over the room here. I need to get these sort of filed away in the collection. So hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to see future episodes. Please leave some comments if you have any about any of these albums. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again real soon. Cheers.